Paul from Vermont Investigators of Paranormal Activity. I want to help by making this video for people that wish to start experiencing or investigating. I'm gonna show you what I have and use for when I go on investigations, and I'm gonna explain where I bought them, why, if or why I like them, anything. Alright, we'll start off with my first ever piece of equipment. This is the Sony digital flash. It is a voice recorder, and it is very well produced. I like it because not only can you go back and listen and turn it up and stuff, but here there's A to B to make loops. There's noise cut, which is very good, for that way if you do catch something, a lot of the noise will not affect the voice. You can easily erase. You can put it on your computer, which I would recommend. I know there's some camcorders out, there's some digital voice recorders out there that you can record, but you cannot take the file off. I know how some people would probably say they'd rather record voices of spirits and wave files, but this unfortunately is MP3, but it still works out the same way. Reason why I got this, not only did I get it from Amazon for about 50 bucks, but it also came with a program called Sound Organizer, which helped eliminate the noise and it helped up the voice. So if you do catch anything, you will hear it with this program. And not only that, but you can transform it into a new file, so that way it will come out nice and easy and clean. Alright, anyway, the next one is actually what I'm using to record this. This is the Sony DCR SR68. I mainly got it for if I wanted to record people for interviews, want to record in like a low light setting without any infrareds, but it does help some pretty good, what I think. I mean, most people can't see it on YouTube and Facebook, but this camera caught when I went to Kyle Woodard's house to find out if his uncle was possibly following him. We caught an orb when I moved the camera to from his head to his chest area. We caught an orb shooting at his chest. It's not a bug, it's not dust, and I know this because dust particles look like snowflakes in a way. It's just everywhere. And it's not a bug because bugs are really known on cameras to have a rod shape, not a solid ball of light. And people and also other investigators say paranormal orbs is not anything to deal with paranormal. I think it's wrong, because if you watch any TV shows or anything, or even if you catch something, you should know by now the difference between what a bug and dust look like on a camera. If not, that's fine. Other equipment is my digital camera. It's a Kodak EasyShare Z981. I got this from Radio Shack or Staples, whatever carries this. I want to say it was Staples actually, but this had a 26 zoom option, so that's pretty far. It's pretty great at nighttime. It's got night landscape, it's got night portrait. Those will help out during the night to capture images. Even though this is not an infrared camera like full spectrum or night vision camera, it still does its job pretty good. But unfortunately, they don't even make this type of camera anymore. Let's see, the other one. Alright, here's my favorite toy when I first saw it on Ghost Adventures. This is one of the parts, and I'm gonna say it a couple times too, but this is the Altec speaker. At first I didn't think I was gonna need it, but then when I actually got what I'm about to show you next is not really what I was looking for. The volume was okay, but it was not loud enough for if I were to take it outside. Anyway, this speaker, if you've also seen Ghost Adventures, where they've used it in a lot of episodes, it is the most interesting device I've ever seen anyway, and heard about, which is interesting. But this right here is the PSB7 ITC research device, also known as the Spirit Box. What it is a device for you to go out and pretty much listen and hear spirit voices in real time. Instead of recording them on a DVR, you'll be able to hear it through this. Also, like I said, you'll need the Altec speaker with the Spirit Box, so that way you can actually hear what they're saying. Also, if you're gonna use this, I would definitely recommend you to turn down the sweep rate. That way, if you really want to hear what the spirits are saying without them talking really fast, because they talk 2 times faster than we do. And I would definitely suggest to turn the rate down for the sweep in to either 200 or 250. That's about what I have it on. The volume is really up to you, of where you are, how many people with you, and all that stuff. Spirit Box is very interesting. I actually used it on July 15th when we went to Horton Cemetery in Chittenden, Vermont, and we ended up contacting 3 spirits. Only 2 out of the 3 gave us names. One name was Ralph, another one was Eddie, and we happened to have a female with us. But it seemed like with the female, she'll just come and go because we heard her voice every now and then. I'm not saying she didn't want to talk, but maybe she was just doing what I said, because usually when I use the Spirit Box, one of the most important things, even when you buy this device, it comes with a user manual to help you understand that it can be dangerous using this box, because you have no idea who you're going to contact, but it does give you an example of how to say an opening prayer and a closing prayer, so that way you won't be followed home, all this stuff. But next on the list is the K2 EMF meter. This thing can help pretty good. I mean, I've tested it around this room, and to get the notification of my wall, my electronics, that way, like, it's right now, if this were to go off, then there's something close to me, because I've done it here many a times, and this thing has not gone off. Not here yet. But, let's see. The EMF meter is good for tracking spirits, because it tracks what EMF stands for is electromagnetic field. Ghosts are actually said to give that off. So, for example, like July 20th, I went and tested this out in the cemetery, which, to remind you, no electricity. I ended up getting 2 spikes randomly at one point when I asked if somebody could flash these lights or come towards it. Amazon again, $60. It's really good for beginners, kind of like me. It's pretty simple to use. There's only one button right here, and all you just do is turn it on, and then push it again to shut it off. Pretty simple. Alright, next on the list. Alrighty. I bought this from ghoststop.com. What this camcorder is, yes, it is small. It is the full spectrum camcorder. I chose this over night vision just because I think I like seeing full spectrum more than I do night vision. This can actually catch things night vision can't, but I want to also say full spectrum has the difference between catching like orbs or something, and this probably won't catch it. I'm not sure, never seen it, haven't really tested that theory out. But yeah, so far quality very good. But if you want to get this from Ghost Stop, I would suggest also to get a phantom light and a bracket. Bracket is to connect the phantom light to the full spectrum. Anyway, unfortunately, oh yeah, before I forget, this bracket that I have looks like a regular bracket, but the only thing I do wish I noticed before I got this one was it does not have a tripod mount. That is the only disapproving thing I don't like about this. But eventually I'll probably look for another one. The phantom light. I will give you a little look at that. This is the phantom light. This is for certain things actually. This actually helps with the full spectrum. When it's on, it helps illuminate and make it more brighter so you can actually see inside better. I actually made a video the other day using this with the camcorder, with the bracket, to test out the difference between the camcorder and the phantom light, and with both. I still would recommend anybody with phantom light. It is very useful, and it does give you a more brighter perspective of inside and outside. A floodlight may be needed if you feel like you want more light, but that's pretty much it. But before I continue onward, because I got one more thing I want to say. These two items were from Phantom Lite. So you can go to phantomlite.com, and they spell light as in L-I-T-E, not L-I-G-H-T. So just so you know the difference, just in case you can't find it. The last part of this video, when I say them, I'll show you the clip afterwards of what I've caught in with this DVR. Just so I know, just so you can see that this does catch spirit voices. The first one I caught was a female voice. It was right before my friend Dan asked, "Were you in the Navy?" Before that, like 2 seconds or 5 seconds before he says that, you hear a female voice say, "What is that?"
Were you in the Navy?
The second voice was with me. It caught on this DVR. This time it was me talking. We have this certain spirit we found at Baird Cemetery in Shandon. She is very friendly. I mean, I haven't had any bad vibe with this one. I mean, it really seems like she's not afraid to show herself when she can. Cause the second EVP from this was when I asked, "Can you show yourself?" And just as I'm saying that, you can hear the female voice answering my question by saying, "Mm-hmm." Before I show you the clip, I'm gonna give you a few seconds to maybe get a headphones because I don't want to turn it up. I did not want to turn it up because you can hear it plain as day without even turning it up. I would suggest wearing headphones, but this is the clip. Can you show yourself? Yeah. So the third one on here. If anybody is familiar with Vermont history, everybody should know by now the Eddy brothers. If not, the Eddy brothers were psychic mediums back in the 1870s who their parents sold them to the circus. They traveled all over the world, but when they got out, they came back here, started the Green Mountain Inn, if I remember correctly, that's what they called it, also known as the Eddy Brothers Farmhouse. Here's the third clip that we caught, and I'm pretty much saying because you were different from everybody else with the powers, pretty much, because I switched it up. I knew they were gifted, and I got one I wanted, because when I asked, was it because you were different from everybody else with the powers you had, a man decided to come in and say, "We're a gift." I'm very sorry what your parents did to you, that they sold you to the circus because you were different from everybody else with your powers of the supernatural. The fourth one was at Kyle Woodard, where I shot the orb shooting at his chest and disappearing when he asked if this was his Uncle Vicky, and if it was, to communicate with him the same way he did before he died. Anyway, I went back there. This time, no orbs, no nothing caught on this camera, but we did catch 3 EVPs. The first one was a female voice when we were asking if they would like to talk through the spirit box, if they had any questions for us to answer, or if they could answer the questions we had. And instead, within a 10-12 period of time of seconds, a female voice decided to come in again, and within a whisper, it almost sounds like she's saying, "Speak up." So here it is.
We'll be able to answer our questions, or maybe we can answer yours.
Yeah, we could always answer your questions. The fifth clip. The fifth and sixth clip, I should say, were taken when I first took this camcorder, and me and Kyle left the room with everybody to see if we can catch anything when we're not in the room. We ended up catching a lot of orb activity. I'm still thinking this one part when this giant ball of light from my tripod, when I go to move it, because I didn't remember if I fixed it or not, but this giant ball of light from my tripod comes up from this bottom, go like this, and shoot that way. But anyway, so I tried to do that again. This time, it was a 48-minute camcorder DVR session with nobody in the room. On the recording, you could definitely hear us, but not that loud. But the next two clips I'm about to show you is what we captured during that 48-minute period, what we thought was going to be silent. Yeah, I bet you heard that one. It almost seemed like pretty clean as day. If you didn't hear it, here it is again. Anyway, that is it. I wanted to check in to show everybody that wants to start or even had questions for me to start when they wanted to start something. Definitely, I cannot express this enough, and nor can other paranormal investigators. But before you go to any place, make sure that you don't need permission. If you need permission, you would want that. Otherwise, if the cop or somebody sees you on trespassing property or private property, you will be prosecuted under the law. Another good thing is when I got the spirit box, I got it from a place called the Ghost Hunting Source. They actually gave me a disc which came with like 5 or 6 document forms of like locations of haunted places, paranormal investigation forms of like asking permission for a place. It goes on, like, I mean, it has everything you need on this one little disc. The full spectrum camcorder even came with a program. It's not on a disc, but it's on the camcorder itself. The camcorder has to be plugged into a computer. When you connect it to the computer, open up the camcorder, there is a certain option so you can install this program. I would suggest that installing first before you were to transfer your movie file from your full spectrum or anything high def to the computer. That way, if you want to create a movie to put it on YouTube or anything as a MegPeg, you can actually be able to do that without ruining the video. And if there's any other questions, you can always feel free to leave me comments. You can even contact us on Facebook. And I hope you enjoy. I will be making another video to explain about the protection, some books, anything else that I can think of that would help you guys know how to do some good researching, protection, and everything else, and we'll just go from there. Have a good night.